I can't believe I've been doing animated film reviews for about 3 years and I'm yet to talk about this movie. A Goofy movie came out in 1995 and it was a film I was just obsessed with as a kid. I didn't have this film on DVD and I loved it so much, I used to watch it on YouTube in parts. Do you guys remember that? People would put films on YouTube like in parts. So like every video was 10 minutes and like every film had like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 and so on. And you would just watch the entire film in 10-minute videos. Those people were frickin' heroes, man. The film received mixed reviews when coming out, but on home video it gained a massive cult following, and for good reason. Who would have thought a film about Goofy could be so good? Hi there, it's me, the Average Critic, and let's talk about A Goofy Movie, the world's best coming-of-age story. So A Goofy Movie, if you haven't seen it, involves Goofy and his son Max trying to reconnect on a vacation, but when your dad is the king of goofballs, naturally there's gonna be some tension. Also, if you do love this movie, I do recommend watching Sideways' video, Why A Goofy Movie is Better Than You Remember. His video is amazing, and there is going to be some slight overlap as we ultimately come to the same sort of conclusion for this film, but I will try not to completely copy. Max is at high school and is pretty much a social outcast, and he wants to get the girl he likes at least to notice him. And he does so by miming a popular song from everyone's favorite rock star, Powerline!
Who was he anyway?
It's only Powerline, Dad, the biggest rock star on the planet.
Boy, the Goofy movie was ahead of its time when it came to miming to popular songs and dancing to them for entertainment. I just love that this is the way Max's chooses to impress her. Like, back in my day, if I did anything like this, I would have been bullied to high heaven. But this is something the film does really well. Everything is showcased from an older child's point of view. Like, when Max gets caught, the principal obviously goes and talks to his dad over the phone, and he just absolutely loses his shit.
If I were you, Mr. Goof, I'd seriously reevaluate the way you're raising your child before he ends up in the electric chair.
The electric chair?
Like when you're a kid and the teacher tells you they're going to ring your parents, it's like the scariest frickin' thing ever. And like most parents and teachers, they take everything out of proportion and overthink everything when you do even the slightest thing wrong. But this whole film is so brilliantly aimed at children, but it becomes incredibly entertaining for adults as well because of this. Its mature themes of Max not wanting to be like his father, every child kinda goes through this. There's the social hierarchy of high school and wanting to be popular and using music as a form of expression to rebel against everything. But then also comes from Goofy's point of view of having children grow up, holding on to the youth of our children, and ultimately that our parents will always be a part of our lives. The music also supports this film being wonderfully aimed at children, and the coming of age we all go through.
Guys, what's puberty? I don't know. It's probably not important.
Whoa.
Powerline has inspirations of Michael Jackson, Prince, and Bobby Brown, and it is a wonderful blend of famous singers who inspired music. His first song, Stand Out, has amazing lyrics that truly capture what it is to be a child. Trying to literally stand out in high school can be difficult, with being different usually leading to being a social outcast. Even harder if you're in the UK and you have to wear a uniform. But also, for Max, in order to stand out for Roxanne, even though in real life this idea of dancing and miming to a song, let's be honest, this is the most stupidest thing and it would not end well in high school. As a social outcast at school myself, I can tell you how I wished so many times I could have done something like this to make me popular. But we all know it would never work. This ideology of standing out is a wonderful fantasy to have, even though it wouldn't work in real life. It makes it incredibly entertaining for this movie, and I really like that child sense of wonder. The film's musical songs, despite sounding like cheesy classic Disney, are actually better than you think. After Today is a wonderful ensemble number, really showing how high school is. Sure, it becomes a great I Want song for Max, but uses its use of ensemble to really appeal to younger audiences of them doubling down on the social hierarchy that is high school. On the Open Road is a fun musical number, and I don't want to fully copy Sideways' video like I said, but On the Open Road reminds us that this is a fun musical film where we get to see Goofy's reason for doing the things he does. You see, during this movie, we see everything from Max's point of view, then Goofy's, then Max's, then Goofy, and then ultimately, they come together. I think this image very much replicates that, as this idea that, you know, in 1995, you're saying, come on Goofy, let your son go to the concert, it means so much to him, and then when you get older, it's come on Max, go on the trip with your dad, it means so much to him. Like, this film very much replicates this idea of going back and forth between Max and Goofy and who is right and who is wrong, and that's one thing I really love about this movie. And this differentiates depending on if you're a child or if you're an adult. This song ultimately becomes the song that makes us understand both of these characters have reasons and wants, and it all wraps up in a fun and silly musical number. Throughout the film, we see more of Max and Goofy struggling to connect as they both want different things. My favourite sequence comes from when Max and Goofy arrive at this Possum Park show. This film has this wonderful way of making Max so incredibly embarrassed by his father, and it's actually quite dark as Goofy really forces Max to do something he really doesn't want to do. Max has this very real outburst that is very raw and true.
Stupidest vacation! You drive me from home, you jam me this dumb car, then drive 1,000,000 miles away to see some stupid rat show! Call me when the trip's over.
And then the scene changes in an instant. The camera literally moves from Max's viewpoint to Goofy's. 5 seconds ago, we're on Max's side, and when we see how Goofy feels bad and is clearly upset, we then feel sorry for Goofy. It's truly a wonderful moment of showcasing how two viewpoints can both have merit. We then have a glimpse that Max and Goofy can enjoy each other's company when Goofy gives Max some freedom to choose the stops along the way on their trip, showing that these two do care about each other. But at the end, it does this wonderful thing of making Max literally choose between where to go. Does he go right and honor his father, who is finally listening to him, or go left in order to preserve the thing he wants most by going to the LA Powerline concert? In any other film, the choice to go right will always be the most honorable option. He chooses left for his wants, but we kind of understand why. From the start, we see and sympathize with Max from his point of view. This makes Max almost more relatable, especially given his age. Any child would have gone left, and every adult would have gone right. This choice is a wonderful one, making us understand what life is like as a child, and why we make the choices we do. In other films, this choice makes your character less likable, but it does make him more relatable. We then move on to the wonderful song that is Nobody Else But You, which becomes a song for this film's whole theme of communication and honesty. I love that this song starts with both Max and Goofy stating each other's flaws. They're finally communicating and being honest with each other, but they're also listening and understanding one another. This film doesn't end with one person bowing to the other person's reasons, but by meeting in the middle to understand each other. This is then backed up massively with the film's finale number, Eye to Eye, which, listening to the lyrics, this is not only a stylized song of Powerline, but is also about Max and Goofy listening to each other and realizing that they can both get what they want. Max wanted to get to the Powerline concert, and Goofy wanted to be part of Max's life. This allows for one of the most powerful messages Disney have given us. A lot of films usually come with our protagonist overcoming something. Your character wants something, and by the end they get something else that is more important. And while that idea is somewhat in this movie, Max and Goofy by the end get a relationship, so they both gain something more important, but in most films, they get what they want by sacrificing something. In a Goofy movie, they both get what they wanted. Max wanted Roxanne to notice him, he gets that. Goofy wants Max not to become a juvenile delinquent, he gets that. But what matters is how they get it, which is by communicating with each other. And in the end, they have a better relationship because of it. A Goofy movie still holds up all these years later, and it is extremely refreshing. I love coming-of-age movies, and they are my absolute favourite genre of films. But a Goofy movie holds up for being something that is so aimed at kids, with everything being from Max's point of view, but even as an adult, you really appreciate that artistic viewpoint. So after all that, it is getting my professional rating of 9 out of 10, and my personal rating of 10 out of 10. Scoring this film is kinda weird. The only people that might score it low is if you want some more serious topics from animated movies. A film about Goofy movie isn't going to go too dark, of course, but from a personal standpoint, there's nothing negative to be said about this movie, and I couldn't believe how good this movie still is. So thank you for joining me in this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more great content on all things animation, and be sure to click on the video that is being recommended, as apparently you'll actually like this video, and who are we to argue with YouTube, I guess. Be sure to follow me on all my social media platforms too, but thank you so much for watching me, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.